A very good morning to all the viewers and the webinar team. This is A. Ram Prasad, Principal, Telangana Model School, Ramachandrapuram, Sangareddy District. I have the privilege to introduce Mrs. Shahtaj Begum, Postgraduate Teacher in Political Science from Telangana Model School, Dhanwada, Naranpet District. She has a vast experience in teaching in various education institutions. She has done her master's from Usman University and B.Ed. She handled, in addition to political science, she handled English also in various education institutions. So she's a good orator. She has already conducted many sessions for intermediate second year as well as first year too. So the session which she's going to conduct today is on state government for intermediate second year students. Good luck to Mrs. Shahtaj and over to Mrs. Shahtaj.
Very good morning to all the viewers. Good morning to webinar team and also dear students. I'm very glad to conduct this session for intermediate second year unit 4 state government. Today we are going to discuss state government. In fact, this is a very important topic which lays the foundation for your political science. So please be interested and hear to the session completely. Now, before we start to know more about state government, first let us know what is the general meaning of the word government. Every day in our discussion, we'll be discussing government. So what is this term government? Why is it needed? Do we really need government for commanding us, for ruling us? The term government has a very broader meaning. It is an agency or machinery of the state through which the will of the people is obtained or achieved. Without government, we cannot rule ourselves and we cannot have a happy and honorable life, a peaceful life. There must be some body of person or some institution which governs us. So the general, literally government means it is the will of the people. It is the agency or it is the machinery of the state which enables us or which makes the people or through which the will of the people is obtained. Government is also can be called a institution, a legal institution in which we have three organs. In my previous session also I have discussed the three organs of the government: legislature, executive and judiciary. These are the three important organs of the government through which the government administers a state, administers the people or governs a territory. So here we are going to discuss in this unit, particularly state government. As India is a parliamentary system, the Constitution of India envisages the pattern of parliamentary government in the states as at the center. In India, according to the Constitution of India, we have the distribution of powers, decentralization of powers between the central government and the state government. Part 4 of Indian Constitution from Articles 152 to 237, they deal with the matters of state government. We have one main government, that is union government, and after that we have our own state governments, like we have Telangana state government, Andhra Pradesh state government, Karnataka state government. So the state governments as well. It contains the structure of various organs, powers and functions of state government. So articles 152 to 237, they discuss the powers and functions of the state government. the state governments. Next chapter, we are going to only discuss state government. So at state level, there are two executive heads, the governor and the chief minister. What are the two executive heads at the state level? The governor and the chief minister. The governor of the state is appointed by the President of India. He is appointed by the President of India, and the chief minister is state. Now here in the slide, you can have of the division of state government, state executive, state legislature, and state judiciary. For state executive, what is the composition of this? In this, you have governor, chief minister, and council of ministers, state council of ministers. The state executive has or is composed of governor, chief minister, and council of ministers. Legislature, it has two chambers, legislative council and legislative assembly. Legislative council is the upper house and legislative assembly is the lower house. For legislative assembly, the people are directly elected, and here we have indirect elections by different sections of the community. Then we have state judiciary. The apex court at the state level is High Court, district courts, and the other courts. What is the function of judiciary? It dispenses justice. It gives us justice. Through what? Through courts. Through courts. So now first let us discuss what is state executive. What is the composition of state executive? We have already learned that state executive means governor, chief minister, and state council of ministers. State council of ministers. Now, Article 153 to 167 of Indian Constitution, it deals with the matters relating to state government. Articles 153 to 167 of Indian Constitution, they deals with the matters related to state. Governor, you can see here governor, he is called constitutional head. Chief minister, real executive, and state council of ministers play a crucial role in formulation of policies. Now let us first discuss the main powers and functions of state governor. As we have discussed, the governor is the constitutional head of state. Constitutional head of state means what? All the official things and all the official area, all are carried out in the name of governor. They are carried out in the name of governor. And according to Article 155, the governor is appointed by the President of India. All the state governors, they are appointed by the President of India according to Article 155. The salary and the allowances of the state governor are determined by the Act of Parliament. Act of Parliament means what? Creating laws, making the law or a statute. So the salary and the allowances, they are determined by Parliament. The governor, what is the tenure of governor? That means how long he stays in the office. He continues in the office as governor for 5 years. That is the minimum time for general elections. But he continues to stay in office as per the pleasure of the president, and the president of India has the power to remove him or transfer him at any time. Transfer him at any time, or also remove him from the office before he completes his tenure of 5 years. And every state should have a state governor, or at times where it is needed, two states can have a common governor, Now let us look into the powers and functions of state governor. Powers and functions of state governor. Here you can see his powers and functions at a glance. Executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, judicial powers, miscellaneous powers, and discretionary powers. We can study the powers and functions of state governor in 6 heads, 6 different sections like executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, judicial powers, miscellaneous powers, and discretionary powers. As we know, the governor is very important. All the affairs of the state are carried out in his name. So that is why he is called the constitutional head of the state. Let us first discuss the executive powers of governor. The executive powers of governor. He appoints the chief minister. He appoints the chief minister of that particular state. Who is a He appoints the council of ministers on the advice of chief minister. After these are the executive powers. He has the power of appointing different state officials. The first, he appoints the chief minister. He appoints the council of ministers on the advice of chief minister. When the formation of ministry is done, then the chief minister recommends the names of certain ministers to form the ministry. He appoints the chairpersons and members of different commissions like State Public Services Commission, State Finance Commission, and State Election Commission. These are the different important commissions which are established to assess the state. Like you can take public for every state, and this is established to the state government in matters related to recruitment, transfers, or disciplinary actions. Not only this, the State Public Service Commission, it conducts exams for appointment of different services in the state, civil services in the state. And State Finance Commission also is formulated, and the chairperson and the members of this commission are also appointed by the governor of the particular state. State Election Commission, the responsibility of conducting elections in a particular state is the duty of the State Election Commission. For all these different commission, the chairpersons and members are appointed by the governor. So these powers comes under the executive powers of the governor. Not only this, the governor of the state appoints the judges of the courts, not the High Court, because the judges of the High Court are appointed by the president. He appoints the judges of the courts, different courts, district courts, but not the High Court. High Court judge is appointed by the president. Then next comes legislative powers. Legislative powers means lawmaking powers. Lawmaking powers. Here, the governor has a right to dissolve the legislative assembly. Right to dissolve the legislative assembly means he can summon, prorogue, or dissolve the legislative assembly on the advice of the chief minister. He addresses the state legislative assembly. He convenes the meetings of the state legislative assembly. And he also made a person of Anglo-Indian community to the legislative assembly. Anglo-Indian community, a person who is both of British origin and Indian, like his father may be of British origin. Here, that person Indian community or Anglo-Indian member. So the governor, he nominates a person of the Anglo-Indian community, has consent for a bill to become a law. When a money bill has to be taken his consent, and in the assembly he has to give his consent, his permission for a bill to become an act. When it is going on in the discussion, like when the proposals are getting discussed in the legislative assembly, it is called a bill. When it is approved by all the members, then it becomes a act. It becomes a act. financial powers. What are the financial powers? So the term financial means it is related to money. It is related to money, isn't it? The governor, he has the duty to submit the financial report in state assembly every year. Annually, he has the duty to submit the financial report in the state legislative assembly. He has the power to release the contingency fund, of the state. Now, what is this contingency fund? Contingency fund is that fund to which the government is governor is authorized, and it is completely under the control of governor, and this fund is established so that unforeseen situations, expenditure is met through the contingency fund of that particular state. After every 5 years, he'll dissolve the state commission and establish a new finance commission. He dissolves the earlier state finance commission and establishes a new finance commission. Finance commission work is to distribute the money between village panchayat and town panchayat, like for the developmental programs, different policies, and also for the upliftment of different sections of the community, not only in towns but also in rural areas. The finance commission allocates the state budget, not only the funds which they get from different revenues in the state, but also the grants which the central government passes to the state government in the annual budget. So allocating all these funds to the different departments, to the different villages, or that is the duty of the finance commission. Then comes the judicial powers of the governor. What do you mean by judicial? Related to judiciary, the third important organ of the government, judiciary. What is the duty of judiciary here? The judiciary, it dispenses justice. Through courts. Much like the president, the governor can often express power through showing mercy on those convicted of crime. That means the governor has some following powers in judiciary also, like pardon. What is pardon? Releasing a person from the consequences of a crime. Pardoning a person based on something. Then commutation, reducing the sentence imposed by a court. If a court has given a verdict and based on different reasons and based on some administrative law, the governor has the power to reduce the punishment, like 10 years he was imprisoned. He can decrease it. Imposed by the court, he can reduce the imprisonment. Then reprieve, postponing the execution of a sentence. Parole allows the release of a prisoner short complete term of punishment. That means before his term of punishment is completed, based on his good behavior or other criteria, the governor has the power to release the prisoner. In judiciary powers, governor influences the appointments, postings, and promotion of district judges. And he also makes suggestions to the president in matters relating to High Court judges, appointment of the High Court judges. The governor also enjoys certain advisory functions, like advising the president on the appointment of district High Court judges. Then comes the discretionary powers of governor. The governor is the constitutional head of the state. That means all the state affairs are carried out in his name. He is a nominal head and the main powers, the real powers are vested in the hands of State Council of Ministers and of Chief Minister of the particular state, under the leadership of the Chief Minister of the particular state. According to the Constitution, the decision of the governor is final and its validity cannot be questioned. Its validity cannot be questioned. The governor has the power to select a chief minister of a state, dismissal of the ministry, and he also has the power to introduce president's rule in the particular state. The particular state upon advice of chief minister, when the situation or when any emergency arises in the state, and when it is felt that the state government is not in a position to run the administration in accordance with the constitution, then president's rule is introduced in the particular state. So that also can be done after permission of the governor. Then dissolution of the legislative assembly. Dissolution means summoning or completely removing that of the legislative assembly also can be done, or it's a matter of the discretion of governor. Apart from all these powers, the governor also enjoys some miscellaneous powers. The governor receives the annual report of the State Public Service Commission and passes it on to the Council of Ministers for comments, for discussion and comments. The State Public Service Commission, which is responsible for conducting different civil services and conducting exam for different civil posts in the state. So the governor is entitled to receive the annual report from this commission, and for further discussions, it passes it on to the State Council of Ministers. He sends the reports and comments to the Speaker of Legislative Assembly for placing it before the Legislative Assembly. That means he convenes the meeting and also different things are discussed before the speaker along with State Council of Ministers. So here we discuss the first important part of state executive, that is governor. We discussed the powers and functions of the state governor. Now let us come to the second step of the state government, that is the chief minister. The chief minister is appointed by the governor of a particular state. And who appoints the governor of the state? The President of India, according to Article 155. So according to Article 164, the chief minister is appointed by the governor. The chief minister of a particular state is appointed by the governor. Often he or she will be the majority, he will be the leader from the majority party, that is the party whichever wins the elections. State legislature decides the salaries and allowances of various officers. That is, the state legislature decides its salaries and allowances, and normally the chief minister holds the office for 5 years. That is the election period, 5 years he holds his office. The tenure is 5 years. Now let us discuss the important powers or duties of the chief minister. According to Articles 163 and 164 of our Constitution, it deals with the office of and State Council of Ministers. Articles 163 and 164 completely deals with the powers and functions of the chief ministers and council of ministers. The chief minister plays a prominent role and occupies a very important position in the state government. He plays a very important role. He acts as head of the State Council of Ministers. All the different policies, programs, or different schemes, they are discussed, formulated, and it is under the leadership of Chief Minister. In the presence of State Council of Ministers, he acts as the head of State Council of Ministers, party in power, the party in power, and he is the leader of Legislative Assembly. Not only that, he is also the leader of the people, who takes the people to the right way. Leader, that means thinking about the good of the people. Now let us discuss powers and functions of Chief Minister. Powers and functions of Chief Minister. Formation of ministry. Formation of ministry. It is the choice and responsibility of CM, the Chief Minister, and he recommends the names to the governor to form the mission. The Chief Minister, he recommends the names to the governor to form his ministry, to form his ministry, to form his government, form his government. And he renders advice to governor to allocate portfolios to different ministers. He is Chief Minister. He also renders advice to the governor to allocate portfolios. Now, what is portfolio? Portfolios are nothing but the functions or the area for which a minister has been allotted responsibility. A minister can be allotted responsibility of 2 or more departments. Allocation of responsibility or the area under the particular minister. A minister can be head for 1 or 2 departments. So he formulates ministry, presides over the cabinet meetings. The chief minister, he convenes the cabinet meetings. He decides the agenda and initiate discussions in the legislative assembly. He acts link between the governor and the council of ministers. The chief minister, he acts as a link. He acts as a link between the governor and council of minister. It is his duty to communicate all the decisions of council of ministers relating to administration of the state to governor. All things which are happening, all those things should be communicated to the governor. So it is the duty of the chief minister, governor, and the council of minister. He acts as a link. And not only that, he is also the chief advisor. In appointing the members and chairpersons of different service commissions. Leader of the Legislative Assembly. The Chief Minister acts as the leader of Legislative Assembly. He is the chief defender of the policies of state government. He is the one he thinks about the different schemes, and under the people, that is under the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister, they formulate policies and implement them for the benefit of the people. He is the leader of Legislative Assembly and he is the defender of the government. He acts as a leader of Legislative Assembly, and all the programs and policies are implemented after a thorough discussion with Council of Ministers under the leadership of Chief Minister. He is the chief spokesman. Either he make important announcement. Chief spokesman means he makes important announcements, and his statements in and out of the state, they carry much more authenticity. They are valid. His statements are valid and they carry very much, they are very much authentic. He is the leader of party in power. The chief minister is the leader of the party in power. After the party wins the election, the governor elects or appoints the leader of the party in power as chief minister. As chief minister, he acts as the head. He is the leader of state. The chief minister is leader of state. Leader of state means he is the one who represents the state, who represents the states while dealing with union government, who represents the states and who takes the problems of state to the notice of union government. Power of dissolving state legislative assembly. The chief minister has the power to dissolve the state legislative assembly. He gives his written consent to the governor, and then the state legislative assembly is completely dissolved. The chief minister is the leader of legislative assembly of the state. He selects the ministers in the council of ministers. As the head of the council, he allocates the portfolios or departments to them. He renders advice to the governor in allocating the portfolios to different ministers. That means he is responsible for the formation of ministry. He is the main link between the governor and the state cabinet. It is his duty to communicate to all the governor all the decisions taken by council. All important announcements on behalf of the government is made by the chief minister of the particular state. Now let us discuss the third important aspect of state executive, that is council of ministers. Council of ministers in the state. The constitution lays down that the governor of state shall act as constitutional head and nominal head of the state. He is only the nominal head of the state. That means who has the real executive power? The real executive power is exercised by the state council of ministers headed by the chief minister. This happens at the state level, and at the center level, the real executive power is exercised by the union council of ministers headed by the prime minister. But here in state government, the real executive power is exercised by state council of ministers headed by chief minister, and other ministers. The chief minister and other ministers. The cabinet ministers and ministers of state. Who are the other ministers here? Cabinet ministers and ministers of state. Cabinet ministers are those ministers who have departments under their control, complete one department under their control. Ministers of state are there to assist the cabinet ministers in carrying out the administration of the state. The state council should not be more than 5% of the state legislative assembly. It should not be more than 15% of the state legislative assembly, and it should not be less than 12 ministers in number. That is the maximum and the minimum limit of the state council of ministers is given here. Now let us discuss the powers and functions of state council of ministers. Now here you can see the powers and functions of State Council of Ministers in a glance. Formation of state government policies, maintenance of administration, coordination function, powers of appointment, role in lawmaking, maintenance of law and order, financial functions, collective responsibility. These are the 8 powers and functions of State Council of Ministers. Let us discuss them briefly. The State Council of Ministers, they have the responsibility of determining policies and also responsibility of formulating different schemes under the state government. It is their responsibility to see to it even the least privilege gets the benefit of the different policies of the government, different policies of the government. So they frame it under the leadership of chief minister of the particular state. The ministers of state are responsible for running the administration of the state in accordance with the laws passed by state legislature. Legislature is the main source of law, isn't it? It is a law-making organ at state level and also at the center level. So the ministers of the state, they are responsible. They see to it that the state is running, that means the state is functioning smoothly in accordance with the laws which are passed by the legislature, The State Council of Ministers are responsible for securing coordination with various governmental departments. Each minister is headed for a different department. So to have a smooth functioning of the government, coordination in this various department is compulsory. So these council of ministers, they're responsible for securing that coordination for a smooth administration, for a perfect administration of the government. The state council of ministers, they play a important role in appointment of different people in the various officers in the state, like the appointment of advocate general, vice chancellors of universities in the state, chairmen and members of state public service commission, etc. All these are done by the governor on the advice of State Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. All these, they play a very important role in the appointment of these various officials in the state. The cabinet plays a very significant role in making law. That is, it is very important to make laws which help the people, which caters to the needs of the people. So this State Council of Ministers, they play a very important role in lawmaking. The State Council of Ministers determines the fiscal policy. Fiscal means related to finance. The cabinet, it formulates and implements all developmental policies. It manages the finances of the state in accordance to the policies and budget released by the state government, and not only state government but also the grants which come from union government to a particular state. So managing all these is the duty and responsibility of the State Council of Ministers, managing the fiscal policy of the state. The State Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the state legislature, the lawmaking organ. State legislative assembly, they work as a team. The State Council of Ministers, they prepare the, apart from that, they also prepare the speech of the governor, and as well as they provide advice to the governor in various administrative matters of the state. The ministers are responsible to the governor individually. So in this chapter, in this unit, we have discussed state executive, the composition of state executive, the governor, powers and functions, the chief minister, powers and functions, state council of ministers and its composition, powers and functions of state council of ministers. All these things we have discussed in this unit. I hope so. You have listened very carefully to this unit. Please go through the textbook to clarify your doubts if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. So I
Thank you,
hope
sir.
all the students will make optimum use of it. So thank you very much and look forward for some more session from you.
Okay, sir. Definitely. Sure. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.